FMCG sector is growing great because India exports lots of like products out to other countries, right? So they want that sector to grow again. Then people were more focusing on the jobs at that time. They wanted to secure either a government job or either a private job. But again, that ecosystem has changed a lot. I can feel that since 2020 when I came back. So yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Desi Return. Today, I am excited to have Shivam on our show. Shivam went to US for his master's in 2016, and after completing his master's, he worked there, especially in the supply chain, and moved back to India in 2021. He has been living here for the last 3 years, and I'm really looking forward to our discussion, especially from someone who is in a non-IT background, how the life has been in India because he has been living here for the last 3 years. With that, welcome Shivam to the show.
Thanks, Avinash, for having me on this show.
So Shivam, let's start a bit about your background, your education and what made you to move to US. I think that would set the stage and then we can go from there.
Yeah, so I did my bachelor's in automotive engineering from University of Petroleum and Energy Studies. So, opposed that, I worked in supply chain with Mahindra and Mahindra. It was a campus placement, so that basically built the foundation to go to US and did my masters from there because I've already spent 5 years in supply chain, so I'm able to understand how the global projects works and then which are the core companies where I can focus down the line once I finish my masters. So that's built that foundation, and then I applied for the colleges there, got into Penn State, got into University of Texas at Dallas, and then I think one more was there, but University of Texas Dallas was having giving me a scholarship. So that's something I use that benefit of like having a scholarship and then going there. So yeah.
Got it. So was your master's in the supply chain domain itself? Just curious on that.
Yeah. My master's was in supply chain itself. The program, the name is called Masters of Science in Supply Chain Management. So, and it's a STEM. So I hope like everyone knows what STEM is. I think catering to all the IT guys. So I think they already know what STEM is. So yeah, the program was STEM, and then that's helped me to stay another for 1 plus 2 3 years post my education. Yeah.
Cool. Was it especially after working for 5 years and the reason to do masters is that like something specific that you're interested to enhance or have you never thought about like going abroad if that's an interest to from a company to company transfer? Just curious like why the masters route?
No, definitely. I think I was preparing for again the idea before master for the masters is like to level up in my career, go up the ladders. So I think that's was one of the reason. And then I even applied for colleges in India, but US specifically for the scholarship reasons and for the post masters, the organizations I can work in. So that was the one of the criteria I used to go to US. And I also like did my research through US News, which are the good colleges for specifically in supply chain
Yeah.
because I built my career there. So yeah, I think that one of the reason is to go up the ladder, and that's just I executed.
So sounds good. So it looks like you want to enhance that the skill set, the experience in that, and definitely like UTD is offering the scholarship, and that made the decision very straightforward. So how
Yeah.
was the life in US? So after you did the masters, you worked there. How was the life, and what made you to think about moving back to India?
See, the life is pretty nice. I think it's again you have to do everything by yourself, which we are not very comfortable in India. I think that's how it is. But initially, I was in Dallas. Then I started my career in Michigan first. It's a quite change in terms of weather. It goes to like -20, and it's getting living in that atmosphere. It's not very good for me. So I wanted to try something on the West Coast. And parallelly, I started looking for opportunities on the West Coast. I moved to California, role in Tesla and then work there. So again, I think California as an opportunity wise, as we all know, has lots of opportunities, and then weather is a plus point. Uh, Work then I got an opportunity with Boeing and moved to Los Angeles. So that's a pretty nice area too in terms of work-life balance. I think all we know Bay Area is like it's more towards work. Like the work-life balance is a little bit on the lower side, but I think Los Angeles give you that advantage. That atmosphere give you the advantage, and it depends on the company you're working for, right? Um, so yeah, then spent almost 3 years. My H1 didn't came in a lottery, as all we go through the process. So and then the only solution I have, like, either go for a PhD, which is 1 degree up. Even I thought of applying for it. I got the visa extension, but I was thinking like I don't want to give another 3 years for studies and then like start working again. So that changed my perspective, and then I came back to India in 2021. So yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Understood. So thanks for that background. So how
yeah.
about the opportunities in supply chain in US and in terms of the work culture, the opportunities? I think if you can shed some light, that would be great. Yeah.
Yeah. No, opportunities are great. As you see, all the companies like Amazon, this all the e-commerce companies are also supply chain companies, right? They fulfill your orders. So there are Walmart's, Amazon we mentioned. There are other many big players also there in the US, like Target. So I used to focus specifically in companies which have a supply chain requirements. And again, opportunities wise, it's a great, like, you know how the big country is and the entire logistic works on that, the geography, how it is. So, and even when I came back to India, I was working for a one startup. It's in a sustainable products. So they were catering to a US market itself. So how we used to work is we used to send products from India to US. Once the products reaches US ports, we used to make sure that are getting picked and stored in a warehouse in US, on the both coast, like West Coast and the East Coast. And from there, it was something getting fulfilled through 3PLs, third party logistic companies like Shipbob. So I think opportunities wise, as we discussed, like it's great, like, and specifically how the booming industry has been, because it's a merge of IT and supply chain, right? So so I think that's the main advantage, and accordingly I focused my studies, and then parallelly accordingly got my roles there. So yeah, again,
Got
comparing to India, it's a different experience, but we can discuss in detail down the line, like how the differences are. But to answer your question is like it has a lot of opportunities. Yeah.
So just to confirm, like I think you mentioned about on the H1 lottery. So you were working on the OPT, and then because of the circumstances, you decided to move back to India at that junction. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Cool. So maybe let's dive into a little bit about the career planning when you moved to India, right? So, like, how was the opportunities for supply chain here? Have you seen a shift, when you left India in 2016? Because
Hmm.
there has been a big surge in terms of e-commerce or different things in India itself. So,
Yeah.
just curious in terms of how the opportunities are, and how do you see that evolving, especially people who are non-IT, they all have these questions about how the opportunities are there in India, for a different.
Yeah.
So if you can shed some light in terms of the career opportunities, the things in India, I think for a supply chain roles, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, 2016, I totally agree. I was working in a manufacturing setup, right? I was working with Mahindra. So I think at that time there was not big surge in e-commerce companies, and I think it started eventually coming in, right? So like Amazon started its operations, I think in 2014, I remember. I may be wrong in the year wise, but they were quite new to the country at that time, and then the surge happened specifically. But when I came back, I could figure out there are lots of companies in e-commerce right now in D2C, like that's
Yeah.
a focus area we could see right now, right? Direct to the customers. That segment is booming like anything. I have attended so many retails sessions when I came back and presented my brand. I'm building my own brand. So I could figure out like there's lots of opportunities. People are coming and investing lots of good like money with that, especially the VCs, right? So the opportunities has increased like D2C players are coming a lot. It was not used to be when in 2016, and then again, like as we discussed, the e-commerce boom has already came. So I think that's giving you lots of opportunities specifically in this segment, right? So that's something we can cater to if we have a background in supply chain or in retail or in like e-commerce. So you can use that experience to like get into these companies and then build your career there. So yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah,
So I think maybe let's talk about, I think, the topic that you have touched slightly, right? In terms of the uh, compare and contrast between the opportunities in US and India. When I say the opportunities, but also like the career growth, right? I mean, in terms of maturity of the segment itself that creates these opportunities within the career.
Hmm.
And maybe if there's anything that you can talk about, maybe on a pay differences or in general, like any
Yeah.
insights that you can give on this particular thing, I think that would be fantastic.
No, totally agree. See, just to answer your question, growth wise, again, at the end of the day, it's on one's perspective where they want to live, right? Like if someone is very driven towards its career, America is the place for them. Like, or I think Europe is also good place for that. But I also feel like many Europeans are living in US just to build their own careers. So I feel like US give you that opportunities where there are n number of opportunities and growth wise, there is no there's no looking back, right? So but again, like for me, I wanted to balance my personal life. Like I wanted to spend my time with my family. So that one of the reason also to came back. But to discuss, like if you ask me, growth wise, US has a has a major growth. Even in within year to year basis, like you get promotions in 1 year in US, like which is happening in India too. But again, it's in a slow pace, right? It's not happening as fast as US. So I've seen colleagues and me myself like getting promotion in 1 year, which I've not seen in India. Like it takes 2 to 3 years depending on the role you are in, right? That's one thing. Pay packages, as you see, like again, but again, US has a good packages, but again, the cost of living is quite high. If you live in a tier one cities like Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, the cost of living is quite high. Like so, I think it's a same ecosystem which also India like cities give you the Bangalore, then Delhi NCR or Mumbai. I think it's same ecosystem. But again, the packages in 2016 2016 was not as great in supply chain at that time, which is right now in 2024. So I feel like the range has increased. Like even in supply chain, people are touching 1 CR or like 80 lakhs or like depending upon the skill set they have. Like their own like if they have IT skills also in supply chain. So that's something that change has happened for sure. So at the end of the day, you could figure out what you want to choose, right? If you come back, have a balanced life, or you want to stay in US. So I think it's a preference to the individual. Yeah.
Got it. And so when you decide to move back to India, how did you choose about the place where you want to move to? Or
Yeah.
like, did you move after coming here to different places? Just, yeah,
Yeah.
can share
No,
that.
I came back with this mindset because as if you see my journey, I've left my home place, which is Delhi in 2007. I did my bachelor's, then worked in Mumbai, worked in Chennai, and then went to US. So I was out for almost 14-15 years. So I was like, I feel like I wanted to stay at least in Delhi NCR where I can on the weekends spend time with the family, and then weekend on the weekdays I can still focus on my career. But as you know, things didn't work out like that. When I came back, I got a role in Mumbai. I started my career in Mumbai. Again, it's a good city to build your career because you could figure out like all the specific the marketing companies, FMCG companies have their headquarters in Mumbai, or it could be finance. So I think that's a really nice experience I had. But then I got an opportunity in Noida, in Delhi NCR in 2022. Then I came back. I was working for a sustainable product. They're trying to eliminate plastic from the entire kitchenware. They're coming with products based of bagasse. Bagasse is sugarcane waste, palm leaf products. So they were working on a really nice products, and that attracted me to build my career. Again, it was a supply chain role, but I could figure out down the line. I think my calling is into entrepreneurship. I My brother was building a brand in FMCG, so I joined him, and the place. To answer your question is like place is something evolved along with the time. Like it
Okay,
was something that was not any concrete, but it evolved, and then currently I'm in Delhi. So yeah.
nice. Along the same lines, I think, is there anything that you can shed some light if someone is looking more on a supply chain? So it is very much across the India, or is there certain metros that are more predominant with those kind of roles? Just curious if there is anything that kind of like a concentration of these kind of roles in a specific region.
The supply chain roles are in like cities like Pune, because if you see Pune is an entire automotive belt. So automotive have belt has a supply chain roles. Bangalore, like aviation wise, like they have a roles. E-commerce, Bangalore is a place for you in supply chain. Chennai again, automotive belt their supply chain roles in Chennai. Gujarat, like specifically now, companies are building their manufacturing plants there. So that's one of the cities we can focus. Apart from that, Delhi NCR has because of the Maruti being in Gurgaon and then Hero Motorcorps in being in Jaipur. So I think that's area can focus. So it's spread out. It's not like concrete in one area. As you mentioned, Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, Chennai, Bangalore, Gujarat. I think that's the cities you can focus in supply chain. And yeah, I think that's how it is. Yeah, even Jaipur is coming in a big way, specifically Delhi NCR and the Jaipur belt is having a more manufacturing companies coming in and putting their plants. So I think that's also area you can focus. So yeah.
Great. No, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I know you kind of touched about this entrepreneur role, right? So
Yeah.
is there anything that you can shed some light? Because there are people who are in US who are thinking of moving back to do their own startups, right? Or they
Yeah.
might not have the flexibility to do. Based on your experience so far, has it become a little bit more easier, or like how the opportunities are, how the startup ecosystem is in India? So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
give any insights, I think that would be very
Yeah. No, for sure. I think Indian government is pushing a lot for the startups. They are providing you funds. I think if you're into FMCG, they're giving you 10 lakhs as a startup fund. Not any like it's not like again any property or something. It's just you have to show your like the balance sheet, what you're doing in terms of your growth, and then you can avail that. Specifically, like FMCG sector is growing great because India exports lots of like products out to other countries, right? So they want that sector to grow again. But again, the ecosystem wise, I think government is giving lots of good opportunities to build your own brands. Like as you see, like startups are securing funds from VC. So I think it's a process. Even Shark Tank, if you see, like I've not seen a episode like the seasons like Shark Tanks, which is coming right now, and that encouraging like and entrepreneurs from small cities. Like I was watching one season where a girl from Jammu have built a brand in a like healthy products like specifically to women sector. So I think again this ecosystem has increased, has came in a long way. And again, you if you can able to specifically sector to the D2C brands which we were discussing initially, I think that's area you can focus a lot because the margins are quite good in D2C brands. So I think that's something you can focus. And again, it's a process. It's not like happens in a one day. You have to like start getting products out to the market, having a customer engagement, conversations with them, what can be increased from us. So I think it's ecosystem wise has increased, has changed. It was not in 2016 how it was when I was leaving for US. I think people were more focusing on the jobs at that time. They wanted to secure either a government job or either a private job. But again, that ecosystem has changed a lot. I can feel that since 2020 when I came back. So yeah.
okay. Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. Um,
Yeah.
so switching gears a little bit, I think going back to this transition, was there anything that you did from a financial planning, like while you worked, anything on the corpus fund side or anything on the 401k? I don't know if there are anything that you can shed some light from a financial planning when you're moving from US to India.
So yeah, I think first thing is again as we could figure out like you if you see most of the students go like they take loans to go out, right? So I think the strategy you can use here is focus the universities which give you scholarship. So basically that chunk of money spending in education can be saved, right? I remember when I was doing my internships, there were students like who has not even worked in India and directly came to US for the masters. I don't know how much pressure they're going to have, like because they have to like pay back the loan also. And if you don't get a job in 90 days, as you know, the how rules is post your masters, you have to secure a job in 90 days. If you're not getting back, you're not getting a job in 90 days, you have to go back. So I think it's good to focus on a in a universities which giving you scholarships. I think that can be easily tracked online. You can interact with the seniors who are already there through social media. I used to interact a lot with like my seniors through social media, right? To figure out how things are, and then start planning as per that. Like, okay, I go to a for me, I went to Dallas. It was cheaper in a living, right? So then I went to UT Dallas again. The got a scholarship. Post that, I went to California and started like planning my expenses. Like, okay, if you're having a salary of 2 lakhs annually, how much I want to save. So I think that's depend on the individuals. Every person has a preference how much money they want to save on a monthly basis. I didn't invest anything on 401k at that time, but again, if we can on a long term, if you see you start saving money on a monthly basis, you can use that money once you came back to India and like either in your entrepreneurship or either in a buying a property or whatever the way you wanted to invest, right? Either in shares. So again, I think it's again goes with the planning. So yeah, like as we discuss here. So yeah.
Got it. That's great. Is there any topic that we haven't covered that you want to bring up?
Yeah. I think yeah, the basic things is like just plan your I think program. I think that's very important because I feel like students like suppose someone is doing mechanical engineering in India and worked in mechanical, they're directly going for IT. That doesn't make sense. You have to build a skill in IT in India. You know, you should be knowing what is data science is, not directly jump into the program and like, oh, I'm not getting a job. So I think that's failures I've seen during my time. Like some of the students were coming from mechanical and directly coming to IT. I don't know how they're going to get a job. First, you need to know the coding, the basic skill set, right? So I think that's something Indian students are not aware. It's like, oh, I just want to go out and study. You have to plan things. I think that's more important.
Yeah.
And again, communication skills, which you can like, I think that's something students suffer a lot when they go out. I think this are the two things which they plan accordingly. I think there is long way to go. So yeah.
Think, that's great. So thanks a lot, Shivam, for your time, sharing your journey, your experiences, working especially in the supply chain domain and how it's been here in India. I think that would be very valuable to our audience. So thanks a lot for your time and sharing your journey with us today.
Thanks. Yeah, it was a nice conversation, and like, feel free if anyone wanted to build a career in supply chain, they can reach out to me, and then I can definitely help them. So yeah,
That's great. Thanks.
yeah.